All right, man, go for it.
Good afternoon. Today's date is the 13th of January 2026. We're here at the Albabe residence for State Farm. State Farm has awarded some repairs for this roof that has been damaged by wind damage. The wind damage is substantial. All slopes have been affected, multiple crease tabs. And because they've awarded some repairs, we're just going to come out here and document in live time to determine whether or not this roof is in repairable condition. We will be using a roof snake to perform this repair. We're going to use this to remove the nails and install the new nails. At any point, if I start to see that this roof is taking damage throughout the course of the repair, I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I don't want to create any more damage than's already up here. One thing I want to point out is you can see the clear, stark difference between the damaged shingles on this roof. Here's the shingle we're going to be repairing. 1, 2, 3. That 3 tab's going to come out, and you can look at our workspace. I've already marked it up for the areas that where we're going to be removing the nails, and you can see that as of the moment there is no damage on these. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to take my roof snake. One thing I want to point out is when I do these, I'm just going to lay this flat, okay, to avoid lifting above a 45-degree angle. I'm going to slide my roof snake up underneath, and I'm going to pry the nail out from underneath. Now the reason that I do that way is because laying it flat right here, if done properly, this shingle will not need to be lifted any higher than that when I pry the nail out. As you can see, thing I want to point out, you can already see that there's been some a stress fracture based on the angle that this is being bent. You can see where it's bending in live time with that nail. Again, about lifting it, you can see the nail sitting right on top of the decking. That's how high it's lifted. Being lifted that high is enough to put that fracture on there, increase that shingle, and damage it. Put that in my pocket. We'll keep moving along. Again, only going to lift it this high. When I remove the nail, that's how high it's going to be lifted. Keep moving along. Some of these, as I've done repairs, you'll notice some of them, they take damage worse than others. And then the main thing to check is at the end is how they look, because it could be worse than it appears. Make sure there's not 2 nails down here. Again, you can see I'm using that same technique every time I lift. I want to avoid putting any extensive lift on the shingle, knowing that wind alone creates creases. I'm going to do my hardest to avoid damaging these shingles. You can see the granules are pouring out through the course of the repair. Again, using this roof snake to my advantage to lift this shingle as little as possible. Another thing I want to point out, you can see when we have to get the nails out, the ones that have already been lifted and taken, you can see there's taken more damage once we get to that point because the fracture, the stress on it, the point of stress is happening at a higher area. So we're going to continue to lift up out of here, keep going. Alrighty, I've got all the nails out. Now we're not going to put a new shingle in here based on the fact that I'm afraid that it won't be a reasonable appearance. So what we're going to do is we're going to simulate a repair. I'm going to slide this shingle out. I'm going to slide it right back in. And then I'm going to place the nails back in using the roof snake. Oh, so I'm going to lift. Get my hammer. See that? Thing I want to point out is this roof snake also has been known to create damage when driving in the nails. If you look here where I've placed it, okay, to drive that nail in, there's the nail head. It has to be close up enough to hit on this flat part to finish driving the nail in, and what happens is it causes indentions into these shingles. As you can see here, fiberglass matting is sticking out. The only reason I'm lifting this one high is because we can agree it's already damaged, right? Mm-hmm. that fiberglass matting is sticking out to where there's an indentation into the shingle. That's functional damage. What's going to happen is as it's exposed to the weather and the sunlight, that's going to continue to splice upwards into the shingle, and it doesn't have to go very high before it's a leak because there's a nail right here. Just want to point that out. More functional damage as a result of this repair. It could not be avoided during the repair. Keep moving along. Again, tear it into the front lip of that shingle, driving in those nails. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but we're going to point out any damage that takes place during the course of this repair. And this is the reason we document it in live time. A few more nails to drive in, and then we'll go over our review. Trying to be really gentle with this one because right in here it's starting to break all the way through. This one at least. All right, let's do a quick little review. So, I'm gonna remark my workspace. Some of that chalk has fallen onto those shingles. All right, this is the shingle that we had repaired. Here, all 7 surrounding tabs appear to have taken damage. Every last one of them creased. It's not uncommon with an age 3 tab. I'm telling you, it's funny though, when you get these new 3 tabs, you can take them fresh out the package, flip them all the way back, and nothing happens to them. But as they get a little bit of age, it's crazy what happens in the course of a repair. So all 7 tabs took creases, and a few places we can see that there was an indentation caused by the roof snake. Again, more functional damage. Looks like there's one here. Good there. Got one here. Good there. Kind of got a small one there. So I'm going to number these. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All 7 tabs were damaged based on what you've seen here documented in live time. Following recommended guidelines, minimal lifting on these shingles. It's my expert opinion that this roof cannot be repaired. Doing a repair is going to create more damage all throughout this roof. See that phone real quick? Give you a little overview. So what you see here from that 3 tab repair, keep in mind everywhere that you see a damaged shingle on this roof, you can expect that to be the outcome. And that's a problem when you look at just how many creased shingles are actually on this roof. Okay. So with that being said, we appreciate you guys taking the time to review this. We look forward to hearing back from you.